We're a job seeker or career seeker networking group. We're a support group. We're here to provide you with advice and resources and networking tips and tricks to help you move forward from this room to your next forever job. Now, we know that you don't really want to be here. We understand that. But our goal is to be able to give you the information and the support so that you can move forward. That's what this is all about. So I want to tell you a little bit about me and what this room is all about. I've been doing this room now for over 8 years, okay, in one version or another. During that time frame that I've been a dedicated career transitions coach, 922 of the people that I've worked with have gotten offers. Now, that's not a guarantee that you're going to get one. But the reason that I mention that is because what I'm trying to tell you is that the information we provide in these rooms is provided to help you move from here to there, to find that next forever job, that next forever career. And it's based on the experience that I have in human resources, well over 20 years of experience as a recruiter, both inside and outside companies. So a headhunter or executive search consultant, experience as a talent acquisition manager, human resources business partner, and a hiring manager. It's also based on those 8 years that I have of career coaching experience. In addition, like many of us who are here to provide support, Melanie and Ken and Sue when she's here, we do a lot of research. We connect with our colleagues. We try and have our finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry, in the job market, in the economy, as well as what's going on in terms of the hiring world, what hiring managers are looking for, what recruiters tell us that they're looking for. So we build on our experience in this room, and we learn from all of you as well to see what's important. And that's the kind of information that we bring you to help you move forward. I'm going to let Ken introduce himself in just a minute. Melanie, you can introduce yourself when you get started on the program. But in the meantime, I want to remind everybody to please put your information in the chat. Now, I do this as my give back, my labor of love. And as I said, I've been doing this for over 8 years. One of the things that I do, though, to support this program, to be able to give back to all of you, to do these programs, is that I do private consulting. And I've told you that this is not a sales pitch. This is my only time I'm going to tell you. And I see several of the people that I'm working with individually here. But the consulting, the coaching that I do with individuals is what helps me and allows me to do this kind of programs. So if you're interested, I'm going to put that in the chat. And then that's my only sales pitch. Connect with me, have a quick chat, and let's see where we go. And Ken, you're up.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Kenneth Lang here in Wayne, New Jersey. I'm here to support Linda as well as Melanie. I'm a brand specialist at Lee Hecht Harrison. We are in the process now of formulating what we're going to be doing in the future. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to be starting a new position with the state of New Jersey as a coach for small business owners, and that's something that's been in the works for about 6, 7 months now. So from the standpoint of how long it takes to find out you're going to get a job, I can totally get it. They said they were going to move slowly. I guess I didn't expect it was going to be as slow as it was, but that's fine. We Melanie and I were both part of Thought Leadership Branding Club, which is a great place that I recommend people join. And I'm here to support Linda as Linda supported me on Monday night. So great to be here, everyone. I'll put my information in the chat, and Melanie, take it away.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay. Go ahead, Melanie. And then
Okay.
that's okay. You can do that. And then what we'll do is we'll do our quick little wins for the day, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. So, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here to not only support you, but also support Linda. Big advocate for Linda and everything that she's doing for job seekers in particular. For those that don't know who I am, of course, my name is Melanie Mitchell Wexler. I was a former recruiter. So I was a recruiter for 20 years. I worked in the agency side. I did spend a little time in-house in my very last position, and I recruited everything, literally human resources, marketing, sales, accounting, and finance. I did pharma and biotech for 5 years. I covered everything from temporary level positions to high level contract to six-figure positions for mid to senior level executives. And I transitioned, well, I left my company in 2007 at the end of 2016, put myself in the job market in 2017. Now it's a very different job market than we see today, but I learned a lot of lessons that for the first time in 8 years, I hadn't experienced. And so we've seen that job market evolve multiple times. It's evolving right now as we speak, in fact. So I fell into coaching, to be very honest with you. I actually did not intend to become a coach. I was going to go corporate recruiting. That was my intention. Through falling into coaching, I started doing resume writing. And then I started learning more about LinkedIn and how LinkedIn was going to play a part in that. Now, LinkedIn is always turned on. It's 24/7. And so what I was seeing was very much people needing some additional extra resources and knowledge on all the things that you can do on this platform. And there's, LinkedIn sometimes gets a lot of shade, we'll say, and it can be funky. And sometimes we may not always love being there, or it feels frustrating, but it does have a lot of good purposes to it. So if we're using the features and we're using those aspects of it, then we're able to take it to the next level. So I did this for another group that I spoke with recently, where I just said, hey, I'm not going to come with slides. I'm not going to come with how to do this, that, or other. What I really wanted to do is just say, here's what I'd like for you to do. If you, I can't review everybody's profile in an hour, but if there's one thing on your profile that you would like advice on, I'm going to put this out there. I guarantee that others are going to have probably the same or similar questions as I typically find. And what I'd love to do is have you put your LinkedIn URL into the chat, raise your hand so I can see them, or Linda, I'm sure will help me as well to see who's raised their hand. And I'll share the screen with your permission, of course, and we will review that section of your LinkedIn profile, and I'll give you a quick tip on how to take that to the next level, or answer your questions on how to manage LinkedIn. So feel free to drop those in the chat, or also raise your hand, and we'll just get started. I'm very I love interacting with everybody, so I want to keep it very personable, and so that everybody benefits from one another.
I think that's fantastic. Thank you, Melanie. This is going to be such a great program. So remember, this is not a full profile review. This is one quick question in a section. So in the chat, here's what I want you to do. If you have that question, put question all in caps, okay, along with your URL. If you just want a quick little review, put profile all in caps, okay, and your URL, and we'll see what we can do. Now, before we get started, what I'd like to do is, this is going to be a very full program. If somebody has a really quick win, I'd like to do just 5 minutes worth of quick wins before we get started. Okay. Kevin, is yours a quick win?
Or no, I had a question on my on the LinkedIn though. That's
fine. We'll wait for you for that. Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Did you put your URL in the chat?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Jennifer, what's your quick win?
I had reached out. I'm looking for a position as a paralegal or legal assistant. I had reached out to a local sole practitioner law firm, and she responded with, I have an interview with her tomorrow morning.
Fantastic. Some of those blind outreach, find companies in your area, those target companies, and see what you can find. You never know what might be out there. Michael, you have a quick win, or is it something else?
Nope, quick win. I applied to a job with a company called Evernorth Medical on Friday. Actually, it was Monday. I emailed somebody that was in another networking group that week, she's still there to the end of the month. She forwarded my information to the executive recruiter. They called, and I have an interview in an hour. So
congratulations. That's fantastic. Okay. Marianne, I'm going to let David go first, Marianne, so you can finish what you're eating. Go ahead, David.
Okay, well, your advice on your 101 on my resume really helped me because that got me phone interview yesterday with Benesh Law for a client value data analyst position. So if you need to have your resume reviewed one-on-one, Linda Brubaker's an excellent person to do it with.
Well, thank you, David. I appreciate that. And good luck moving forward. Mary Ann.
So I have two quick wins. I got a free baseball cap because I have been commenting and responding to this immigration attorney's LinkedIn posts, and he liked that. So he sent me a free baseball cap, which says NIW, National Interest Waiver. If you're not in immigration, you have no idea what that means. I am also a speaker on a panel for Worldwide ERC, and that is Worldwide Employee Relocation Council. That is coming up in a couple weeks. It's all good.
Congratulations. Great win.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay. And thank you guys for understanding that we're going to do this very quickly today, because this is going to be such an important program for all of us. You all know how important your LinkedIn is. You know that that's the very first thing people see about you. We talk about LinkedIn a lot, not only what your profile looks like, but engagement, how to connect with people. And we're going to continue to do that. Hillary, is that a quick win, or is that for the LinkedIn profile review?
Sorry about that. I had to get my audio unmuted. Well, I had a quick win. Last week I did have an interview. So actually I had like 2 interviews, and we'll see what happens with that. But I also have my hand up for the profile as well.
That you can put in the chat, and then we'll move forward, because that's
Okay.
about where we're
All
ready
right,
to go.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. So here's where we're going. So we've talked about how important LinkedIn profiles are. Melanie's one of the experts, not just in terms of LinkedIn, but also in terms of how your profile can help you and what kinds of things people are looking for. So I'm going to let Melanie turn it over. I'm going to turn it over to Melanie. She's going to be doing this. So remember, if you've got your questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to monitor that. I may not always catch you. Okay. So if you raise your digital hand as well, that will help. And then we will go from there. So Melanie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect.
By the way,
I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll get my messages. So Kevin, what was your question or one area of your profile you would like to have me look at?
Sure. Thanks, Melanie. So if you page down to the experience section there, I unfortunately was recently laid off from Navistar or International Motors. And I, in the past, have put something because your algorithm performance tends to drop when you turn off your past employer, which I've done since I'm done with severance and whatnot at this point. I've usually put hashtag O&O, and then that boosts the algorithm up, shows that I'm looking for new opportunities. But LinkedIn has added recently this career break section. And you have there a chance to, from a pre-populated list, pick like career transition, loved one care, maternity leave, what have you. There's a number of different drop downs. Initially, I had layoff/position eliminated. This morning, on the advice of Dennis Curtin, who also does a lot of LinkedIn suggestions, I made career transition. Curious for your take on this whole career break section, whether it's good or better than the adding of another company that would be open to new opportunities, or whether that career break potentially has some negative connotations, because I don't want it to seem like I'm just sitting at home eating bonbons. I'm working really hard to find a job, and I worry that that career break thought could be viewed by some as, well, Kevin's just taking the summer to work on his golf game and lower his handicap. Not the case.
Yeah. So here's a couple of things. So first off, I applaud you for having what I call a placeholder, because a placeholder is, so for example, we're going to use Kevin as the example, because I'm going to again assume probably a lot of you are in this situation where we see here 2025, he was, in this last position. We see how long, his 2 positions with international. What LinkedIn does, and this is for the recruiters specifically that have LinkedIn Recruiter, is it automatically defaults when they do a search. So for example, if I type in communications operation manager on the back end, it defaults to present. So what that means is it's only going to show me in profiles that are open. So June 2025 to present. And when you don't have what I call the placeholder, and that then does limit you from not coming up in search. So if you have been laid off or you don't have something that's too present, it is a good thing to do. Now, here's where where I would edit this slightly, Kevin. Instead of saying career transition or career break, I would actually change this. And I do understand why LinkedIn did these, and I'm going to be very honest with you, from 20 years of recruiting, having worked with the hiring managers, there is sometimes negative connotations that are in the back of our mind of like, well, what's that career break? Why does that person have that career break? And so we don't necessarily see that in context in real time. So what I actually recommend is not using LinkedIn's career break, but doing one. You can edit this and I'll go to my profile really quickly. And so what you can actually do is if I wanted to add a position on my profile, I could say recruiter and full time. And here's where I always forget what I'm actively or open. So here's like open to work. There's a ton of these. Open to new opportunities. You can just kind of go through and select any of these. These are what I call the placeholders. And then you select that. Now you've done the right, and here's why. I want the title of the position you're seeking at that top thing. Okay, because first off, we know keywords are really important on LinkedIn. Probably even more so than even on your resume. So even if I don't have LinkedIn Recruiter and I'm a recruiter that's looking for a communications operation manager, I think it's roughly your title there. I can go to people and I can start to see who has this exact title. Now, I didn't do an exact search. I could have put parentheses, or I could put quotation marks and do like a Boolean search. I can filter this down by location, types of industries, things of that nature. I can go really deep in terms of what I call your funnel. As a recruiter, I'm going to start at the very bottom of my funnel, okay? I want the closest people to my search that I'm looking for. So I might do like communications manager and Salesforce, or, the software that we're using, something along those lines. And then I can filter it less based on what I am looking for. So I do want to see that title of that position. Bear with me here, Kevin. Well, actually, there we go. I think I've got yours up there. So what I want to do is I want to see that there. And then what you can also do is going back to that work experience here. And I'm spending a little bit more time on this because this is really important. I will look for it while we're kind of taking questions and things, but there is a recruiter friend of mine. Her name is Melanie Woods, and I'll have to go into my email, but I'll find the link where she has a YouTube video where she walks you through exactly how to do this. And I love her. She doesn't put out as much stuff anymore because her job has changed a little bit, but it is really good, valuable information on how to create what I call the career placeholder. You've done a great job here of adding a little bit of what you're looking for. I'd even do something else. And you may ask, Melanie, why would I need to add more here? Because here's the thing about LinkedIn. We know I'm going to see this top half of the screen. Every single one of us. That's a guarantee. This is all the information I'm always going to see. But where does the viewer go next? Well, that depends on who the viewer is, right? So a hiring manager may be looking for something else. So if you've got that interview or you just did that speaking opportunity, I may be going to a different section. This is why it's important to have every single section filled out on your profile. But as a recruiter, we know tends to go directly to your work experience. Why? Because I need to know, is this person worth my time? So one thing I'd like to see here is maybe a couple of highlights and results, some highlights and accomplishments. Tell me a little bit. It does not have to be your full-on resume. Don't write me a book, because remember, we're online. Our attention spans are short. We're, doing 50 million things at once. I need enough to say, let's have a conversation, Kevin. But the other thing I'd like to see you add here, Kevin, is some of those skills. See, you've added those skills under those other positions we see here. You've got skills related. Give me those top 5 skills that you're the best at. Give me your top 5 key skills. That's also going to help. We're going to, and I'm going to say this cautiously, we're going to flood your LinkedIn profile with keywords. But, and this is the but, keywords have to have purpose and meaning, okay? Keywords have to have purpose and meaning. We don't want to just have a LinkedIn profile filled with, a bunch of words that we need to tie them back to what we do. So that would be what I would recommend, Kevin. Does that help?
It does, yeah, because I think the worry that I had in this career transition, it's a great idea, but there are some bumper posts, right? Like at the bowling alley, like you are firmly restricted on what you can and cannot put there. Where I think that O&O and putting in a position and then adding those other things that you mentioned there, Melanie, is a much more comprehensive view of who I am and what I can do.
It's unfortunately, people have biases. I've witnessed it firsthand with hiring managers my entire recruiting career. I've got stories I could share with you for days. People have biases. It's the unfortunate. Now, we know that people are also more understanding in today's job market, but this is what I also say. Don't allow a hiring manager, in particular, recruiters here, I will tell you this, a recruiter is looking for the best candidate. That's what they're looking for. They're not like, okay, he got laid off or he, had to take care of a sick parent or whatever. They're like, are you available today and are you a great candidate? If the answers are yes, then let's have a conversation. Hiring managers get a little bit more particular. They go down the rabbit hole and they start to say, well, why is he looking? What happened to his job? Why has he not been working? They ask all these questions. And if you get a hiring manager going down a rabbit hole, we've lost them based on your experience. We want to keep them tight. We want to give them that information. So we do want to stay focused. So you could mention, recently laid off, actively seeking, this new opportunity. Here's the value I bring to the table. I'm the change maker. This is what I'm good at. So that is an opportunity to do something that your resume can do, but in a different way. It can make it more personal.
Great. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate your guidance.
Okay.
Not a problem. And Linda, I've lost track of the chat. So
I know I have too for a moment, but I just wanted to bring up one more thing. So one of the things that you can do, whatever that placeholder company is and whatever you're talking about, and in your conversations with people as well, right? You don't need a lot of explanation on LinkedIn. In a conversation, that's something different. But what you want to say, that phrase in that placeholder company, while looking for my next opportunity as X in this industry, it gives you the several job titles that you can do. And that's another ding or another filter for the search engines on LinkedIn to help find you. And it says, you recognize that you're looking for that next opportunity, you're ready to work, but here's what you've been doing in the meantime to help further those skills or whatever else you're doing. So it's a great way of doing it.
I did find I'm back on the chat where I'm supposed to be. So next up I have Natalie. So Natalie, if you want to come off mute and you had a question about your profile, what is that area that you'd like me to focus?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was the only Natalie or not here, but
I did not want to butcher. I am sometimes horrible with names, so I went with what I knew I could pronounce.
No worries,
and not
Melanie.
offend anybody. So.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie. Hi everyone. I hope everyone's doing well on this lovely midweek. I had a question about the about section. I know that we talk a little bit about the experience section, which is another rabbit hole we can go down another day, but I'm always like trying to make it a little bit more punchy. And I know you mentioned about keywords and things that I'm looking for. And so I'm not sure like what's the goal with the about section, like what I should be putting there. I mean, just all the things.
Yeah, so a lot of times people treat And I would tell you, based on what I'm seeing here and not knowing too much about you and your background, you're headed in the right direction. So what I usually see happen is that most people treat the about section like their summary on a resume. Sometimes people just copy and paste it. Well, as a recruiter, to be very honest with you, and especially as a hiring manager, and which I served as well, hiring my own team, I want to know a little bit more about you. Okay. I need to know a little bit more about you, especially if a recruiter gives me your resume and I go and check out your profile. I don't want to read the exact same thing. Okay. I want to see something slightly different. So here's where I would say you're starting to head in that right direction. You're speaking in first person, but I maybe would like something that kind of grabs my attention a little bit. So instead of saying I'm a customer and lifecycle marketing leader with 10 plus years of marketing experience, what is that, what is that thing that makes you stand out? Is there something that can grab my attention with that? So you've got the right pieces, you've got good spacing. The thing about your about section is you have, I want to say 2,200 characters, if that's the right number off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I think it's
like
2,300.
Something like that. So I never can, I'm horrible with remembering numbers. So,
Same.
so you have the ability to share more. And some people, sometimes when I'm working with my clients, they'll kind of like, well, I don't want to write a book. And I would share maybe one or two highlights that we can help kind of break the monotony of all the words up. So what's your biggest success? Tell me your biggest success. Put that in there. So when I see a percentage sign or I see a number or something like that, that's going to help break up the eye for the reader. And remember, these little devices over here, folks, that we all have, 90% of people right now, I think is a statistic I just saw. I don't 100% know the source of it, but a lot of people are using their iPads or using their phones to review your profile. So how does this look? How does this read on link or on your phone? So that's another tip for you guys. Go check out what your profile looks like on your phone, because you might need to do some tweaking. You don't have to have, quote unquote, the standard paragraph, like we write a paragraph like we were told in school. You can have a little bit of fun with this, okay? So don't feel like you're contained like you are in your resume. Resumes, we have limited real estate, right? We know we're trying to keep things succinct to the point, and we do want to tell a story here. So if there is a thing that you need us to know about you, I need to know that from the get-go. I'm really big right now, and I'm leaning into this with my own clients. Today's job market is coming down to nuances. Linda's heard me speak about this before, or I think I just talked about it last night, Linda. But it is coming down to nuances, especially in interviews. It is more important now than ever for you to be able to say, how do you solve the problems that you are, for the type of position or role that you're looking to be filled for? What is something that you can do? And I will push back on anybody that says, well, I don't really do anything special. It's nothing big. Yes, you do. I want you to know, yes, you do. Why? Because you are you. Every single one of us does something slightly different. We look at it through a different lens. We have different experiences. We have a different point of view because that's based on our experience. So I want you to know, whether you're that customer service person or that attorney, you bring something different to the plate. Tell me what that is, because those are the things that are reasons people are getting hired. It is how you can make a difference, how you can solve the problems. So give me a little bit of some of that. I'd like to see, because I'm hearing you speak, Natalie, and I'm like, wow, you're full of life.
Thank you.
This feels very in the box. And not that you have to be like bouncing off the walls out of the box, like with crazy things, but it feels very contained. And I feel like you've got a strong personality. I'm not necessarily feeling that here. By the way, I know some people may kill me for this. You can't include emojis in your about section. Okay? I'm an emoji lover. I am. I know some people are not. You don't have to go wild. I'm not saying you have to use the I love the one where the brain is exploding. You don't have to go there. I know if you're in accounting and finance, if you're an attorney, if you're in legal, yes, those are very, suit and tie in the box. We're probably not going to be super excited. But you see how Natalie has those at the bottom? That breaks up the eye, right? That draws our attention there because that's just how we are as readers. And so if you added just a couple in there, that's going to help us draw attention to those areas as well. Does that help?
It does. Thank you so much.
Let's see. I have to be careful with my make sure that I don't miss anybody.
Right. So the next person that I have is Raymond has had his hand up for a very long time.
Okay.
Okay. Raymond, did you have a question about your profile or is it something else?
I had something, it is about my profile, but we don't have to go there. It's more Melanie. You made a statement to Kevin in the creation of the new role he's seeking. And you said, hey, why not put some accomplishments or highlights? But then I just heard you say, put those accomplishments or highlights in the about section. So I'm thinking about section is where those quick wins would be. And then in that other section of trying to find a new role and what I bring to the table, don't need to replicate that because I'm going to have those highlights in those specific positions. I see you got a finger up.
So here's where we don't know where the reader is going to go. If I'm a recruiter, likely going to go to your experience section first. Probably not even going to read your about section. Hiring manager, I'm going to go to your about section and get to know you a little bit more, Raymond. So when I work with my clients, sometimes they're like, well, didn't we already say this? Yes, we did. We're replicating it. You know why? Because we're building your brand.
Got it. So you think it's okay to replicate?
Yes, it is. And you can switch it up. So like if you have like one or two that you want to put in your about section, you can use others in your work experience. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're building your experience and like this is the job you've had for 20 years and these are your biggest achievements. That's okay. Because honestly, most likely the reader or what I call the viewer is not necessarily going to see that information. We want a complete profile from top to bottom. We're building your brand. And every single time, even if I don't register like saved $1 million or 80%, time reduction, I'm seeing the percentages. I'm seeing dollar signs. That's telling me this person is doing something. And even if I don't necessarily put it in context, we're building that brand that shows you who you are and what you're doing. And so I want to see it. I have no problem telling you to put it in your about section. I want to see it in your work experience. Reinforce that across the board.
Got it. So it's not going to be read like, dude, I just read this in your about section. Now I'm going to see it again. It's redundant. Okay, very good. I see Linda shaking her hand. No problem. Second quick question was, and you already answered this, but I thought I'd just drive it home. About section can be in first person. Is that fair?
Yes.
Is that encouraged?
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously the resume is third person and most of the jobs are third person, but the about section is more of a conversation point. This is how I present myself, gives tone. I see Linda nodding her head. So, okay, great.
Yeah,
thanks.
It is who I'm going to work with. Who am I hiring? Who is Raymond? Who do I, and again, we want to keep it professional. I don't need to know, like as a recruiter, I don't need to know all the details and everything of that nature. But at the end of the day, I want to know who you are. Right. And LinkedIn does something that our resumes can't do. Okay. It does give us that space. It gives us that real estate. So fill in some of those blanks.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Melanie, I don't know who's on your list, but I've got two more.
Go ahead, because I've lost track of my, and I know some of these questions, honestly, these are great questions. And I know, I just know that I'm sure that they're helping everybody across the board, because our profiles, by the way, even including mine, are always works in progress.
Absolutely. So there's no problem with that. Okay, Jennifer, your hand is up next and has been for a while.
I did put in the chat that my link that I had a question about my profile.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let me do this. Can you do me one quick favor, Jennifer? Just drop it in the very, very bottom of the chat because I've probably lost it. I'm sure I could find it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We may just have to do that. So let me go back to mine. And I will share. Okay, Jennifer, tell me what is your question and or area that you would like me to look at?
About again also, but I'm actually in a career transition. I used to work in IT, but and then I had a career break for personal reasons for a few years, but couple years. And then I decided I wanted to make a career change to be a paralegal or legal assistant. And I went last August to ABA approved paralegal certificate program that I finished in June. And so now I'm actively job hunting in this new field.
Perfect. So for your about section, you're doing a great job with kind of telling us what the direction is you're going to go in. Here's what I would encourage you to do. And you started it here with some of the skills I'm able to contribute from my previous IT career. I would even have fun with like, you know, doing something of like taking those specific skills and breaking them down. So like managing information throughout a process. How does that relate to being a paralegal? Because now you've gone through this certification, you've gone through this course, you probably have that idea. Document management, one of my good friends is a paralegal. That, you know, I know document management is of the utmost importance. Attention to detail is obviously something we know both from an IT perspective as well as from a paralegal perspective. So what I could see maybe in the middle of your profile here is I would lead with your transition first. Instead of saying I got my first introduction to paralegal and legal assistant, I would make it very clear, you know, you're doing that transition. This is what I'm looking for. And then kind of tell us that story, because we only see the first, yours is a little bit shorter. So let me just go to my profile really quickly. Let me just make sure I'm not clicking on the wrong things. You'll see here where we see the first, what we see is the first 4 lines. One of mine is the 3, or one of my 4 lines is my space. But you can see here where I say that's where I come in, and then it's see more. And you're probably, and well, I'm hoping you all are, you might be curious as to where I come in. How do I help you? So, you know, giving a little bit of a teaser. So it's also important to know how that shows up. So you can see where I'm kind of getting a lot more information here. And I'm kind of like, okay, I don't quite know what direction I'm going with. Okay, she's got her paralegal certificate. She's become involved in the paralegal association. That's great. But what is, you know, I'm assuming she's looking for paralegal, but maybe change that up slightly in that introduction. Be very direct about who you are and what you're offering.
Should I mention I'm transitioning from, well, I do have that in the second paragraph, the transitioning from an IT career.
So what I would do in that second paragraph is then I would break that up into some bullet, like I would break that up to, you know, you may be asking yourself, like, how does a former IT, I'm not sure your exact title there, but, you know, a former IT specialist, we'll look here and what IT quality, you know, as a quality, you know, quality assurance analyst in the IT field, what does that have to do with being a paralegal? And then do bullet points. So document management, you know, quality assurance, document management. Now as a paralegal, this is how I help you. Managing information, implementing new systems. These are all the great skills that I bring to the table, having been in this space. And now as a transition, I can bring them to you as a paralegal or a legal assistant.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you. Okay, Erin, you're next on my list.
Great.
Are
I've
you-
been updating stuff as we speak here. Hold on, let me just.
Oh, good.
That's one of the great, you know, nice thing to do these things in real time.
Yes. Okay, do I need to put my
Yeah,
URL
if
at the
you can
bottom of
just-
the chat again.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll help me. Because you guys have all great questions and you guys are very
Yeah, no,
interactive.
this
We
has
are,
been
it's a very
helpful so far.
interactive group, both here and in the chat.
I love
Okay.
it. I love interactive groups. So it would help if I did the right copy and paste. But bear with me here. There we go. Okay. Okay. So while I'm pulling this up, Aaron, tell me what is share.
Well, I just added, I don't know now, I just added the transition role that you were saying.
Mhm.
I don't know if I should ask you about that or the about section.
Oh, I'm going to give you a quick thing.
Oh,
Just real quick. I know you didn't ask for it. I know that you've got your resume here.
It's like
In your
open to
featured
work
section.
one, yeah. You think I should take that off?
So, okay, I'm going to tell you a little trick. Recruiter Melanie loves when people put their resume in there, okay? Why? Because
It's
I
not a
can
full
just go
resume,
to
but
it
yeah.
and go, hey, does this person match what I'm looking for? Coach Melanie says no, because I want that recruiter to say, I see enough to have a conversation. Why? Because even recruiter Melanie knows that I may have if I have one similar position, I'm most likely recruiting for other types of positions in that same area, or that's my specialty. So my goal as a coach is to get you to talk to a recruiter, okay? Because I may decipher something off your resume or go, oh, I don't see that. And maybe you just didn't have it on that version of your resume, but you've got the experience. So don't limit yourself from that. If I see enough on your LinkedIn profile, I'm going to reach out and say, hey, Aaron, let's have a conversation. And then we can fill in those blanks.
Okay. Can you take a look at my experience,
Yeah.
that role I just put in?
So that's perfect. I've got the title, open to new opportunities, looking for new opportunities. Add some of those skills that you can add like you've done here. What are your top 5 skills? I'd like to see those
Okay, yep.
there. But that looks good. That's strong. Maybe give me, and I know we're just doing this, so just maybe give me 1 or 2 highlights here as well of some of your highlights and accomplishments, maybe 1 or 2 of those. But overall, just a couple of little tweaks. I think you've got a strong, definitely got a strong start there.
Okay. Thank you.
Marianne, you're next on my list.
Okay, I will put my LinkedIn URL in the chat one more time.
Thank you. And while Marianne's doing that, yes, Pam, I do see where I saw your question there. It's hard to know what's really right or wrong. And yes, there's going to be LinkedIn experts that are going to, and coaches that are going to give you all sorts of advice and things of that nature. And here's the thing about job searching, and Ken and Linda, can chime in on this as well. If there was one right way to do job searching, none of us would be here, right?
And none of you would be here.
And also, if there was one right way to do job searching, I would not have had a career for 20 years. So, or I would have been retired by now because I'd be so rich that I didn't need that. So we know that the job market always evolves. I offer my perspective, having been on both sides of the fence. So I was with the hiring managers. Hiring managers hired us to find their staff. And then I went out and we found their staff. We found that, C-level person to the entry-level person. And then I was working with the candidates on the flip side and how to promote them and how to market them to the market. I've also gone through 2 different recessions as a recruiter. I'm in Baltimore. I've also gone through multiple government shutdowns, which is very specific to the DC market. But all of that being said, the market's changed, and there's so much information. At the end of the day, do some testing, see what works. If you've been doing one way for a while and you haven't gotten any results, this might be the one change you do to see, hey, does this help? Does this increase the number of conversations coming my way? So that's where I wanted just to address that really quickly because I think that's a good point. Is yes, sometimes there's a lot of noise out there. You do have to follow with what you feel is best. I will tell you, if my clients give me a suggestion, I'm usually open to it unless I feel it's detrimental to their job search. And in that case, I tell them and I say, but at the end of the day, it's your job search. It's not mine.
Mhm.
You need to do with what you feel like works. But here's what I would recommend.
And I absolutely agree. You're going to see lots of things out there. So be careful too. There are a lot of people who are calling themselves experts who really don't have the background. So make sure that the same way that you're doing your due diligence on the recruiters that are out there and those jobs that are out there, do some of your due diligence on the people who are providing advice to you.
Yeah,
Okay?
that is the other thing too. And, because, and Linda and I, because Linda, I do a bi-weekly career coaches on call with 3 other career coaches, and Linda often joins us. And, we often talk about, like, even with like interviewing and things of that nature, is that there's a lot of people out there that, in the coaching arena haven't necessarily been on the hiring side. They may be experts in their field. So they may be tech experts. They may be legal experts. They know your industry. And there is something valuable to that, but they haven't necessarily been in a hiring management type of position. So I think it's important to kind of know what their background is and what they're bringing to the table.
Absolutely.
So Mary Ann, what's your question, or where should I look?
My profile section.
Okay. So your experience?
Or about.
Oh,
Or
my about section. Sorry.
Okay.
I've been sick all week, so I'm a little foggy in the
You're
intelligence
fine, believe
bracket
me.
here.
Tell me a little bit about what you do as a immigration and global mobility specialist.
I wind people through bureaucratic immigration procedures. That's the short version.
I want to see that statement at the very top.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
that honestly, that kind of gets me something of like, oh, what is this person? Like, what is it? Because then I see here, although I'm not an attorney, so I kind of want to see where that initial link is of like what you do and how you explain that.
Okay.
You've got a good start where you're the human hyperlink. I do love that. I might even lead with that. So there's a couple of options there you have. You've got an interesting background. And I think for you, what may be happening is, and I was also going to tell you, so I'm just going to give, you mentioned that you're going to be doing a speaking opportunity.
Yeah, it's just one panel for a conference.
Hey, no, doing a speaking opportunity. So I don't care if it's in the cafeteria of a school. You're doing a speaking opportunity. So if you can have somebody take a photo of you on the panel, and you can add to your section a featured section, because that then helps give you visibility as a thought leader, as an expert in your field.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you.
And so I'm going to come back to your profile here in just 2 seconds. I'm going to show you just for those who don't know. And you may be saying, well, Melanie, these are the ones that I've got on my featured right now. You may be saying, Melanie, I'm not having speaking opportunities. I'm not on a panel. Here's something you can do, a quick tip. I do encourage every single one of my clients to add something to their featured. We saw that Erica, yes, had her resume, but she also had some insights. You could do a quick sheet of like a one sheet of like, here's my quick highlights. Here's some things that I've done. Even if you all are on video right now, yay. Do a quick 30-60-second video that says, hey, David's at the top of my screen. So, hey, my name's David Pryor. I am a XYZ. I'm looking for opportunities so that I can help solve blank, blank, blank. Do a quick 30-60-second video as an introduction. It draws me in. It's something different that by the way, job seekers are not doing this, okay? It shows up high on your profile, that featured section, so it automatically catches my attention. And
Great.
and Linda knows me and knows that I actually don't like doing video, and that it's my Achilles heel. But so when I say that, know that I'm like right there in pain. I have to actually do 2 videos later on today, so I have to face my own issue of not. But
I don't like doing video either, but I'll get over it.
that's how I like, no, that's just where I'm at and what I have to do. So I do think that there might be, and I don't know enough about your field could tell you if that's going to be a title that people, and you correct me here, please, would be actually like the titles that you're applying for. Do these match the titles that you're looking at in terms of jobs?
Immigration specialist and global mobility specialist match together as one. No one advertises it as one, both U.S. immigration and global mobility. They either say immigration, but they feed into each other.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure, again, that's not my area of like, I would know more, obviously having in depth. So I think leading with something like that at the top of your about section. So kind of, you can go back to look at mine where I have like my title and then give me that kind of tagline and then leading your about section.
Great. Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome, and good luck with your and again, don't diminish. I don't care if it's one, and I don't care if it's in the cafeteria of the high school. You are on a panel.
Okay.
Who is up
Okay.
next?
I see several hands raised. Jeffrey Jones, I think, is next on my list.
Hey,
Okay.
Jeffrey.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Let me pull up your profile. Okay, Jeffrey, give me your question. What can I answer for you?
So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for last week's insight. I updated my headline, and I definitely think it's better than it previously was. This week, I am working on my about section. I have updated it. I got some advice that basically said that your resume should tell a story, but also your about section should tell a story. I have a plethora of experience, and it's more than I should represent on my LinkedIn page. With that being said, it can be a little much and a little vague. So I just wanted to give it a quick overview and get your opinion of it.
So I think what you can do is give me, and I do like the headline, give me a little bit about, instead of saying strategic leader, give me kind of that. And I know you're in a space where that quote unquote, that title could be probably a couple of different things based on, organization, but kind of give me a couple of those options of what that is. Because when I read strategic leader, that can mean a lot of things. So I need you to kind of speak to and one way you guys can do this is take a collection of the types of jobs you're applying for. I guarantee you there's a theme. So if you looked at all the last 10 jobs that you've looked at, what are the titles? What are some of the key words that are in those jobs? That's going to be a good indication of the keywords that you want to weave through your profile, not only your headline, but in your about section. Because here's a little tip. Every word we put into our profile actually helps us come up in the search. So I always give this weird story. Y'all can do this right now. You can go to your search bar. You can type in quilt maker. Guess what? There's quilt makers on LinkedIn. Okay. You can search. LinkedIn's heart and soul is a search engine. Okay. That's what it kind of got started as. It's evolved multiple times. It has different looks, faces throughout its existence, but it really was like its heart and soul really is a search engine. It's not it's not a Google search engine, but it is a search engine. So you'd be surprised at the amount of people. So if I'm looking for something specific, help me find you. But I do like where you're headed. I like helping micro to large companies optimize IT systems, things like that. But give me a little bit more specific here. I don't know I need where you began your career right away. I maybe want to have more of an impact of what you're going to do for me today. So I see where you've expanded engineering. I see delivered multi-million-dollar projects. And this is also, by the way, even though I haven't, I'd probably be a little bit rusty. I can still pretty much read a resume and extract the keywords that I'm looking for right away in a very short amount of time and go, is this a yes or is this a no? If you're in my yes pile, I put it there, and then I come back to my yes pile. That's when I start diving deeper. Like, do you have the specific things that I need? If you, from a glance, if it's yes, then I can dive deeper. So I would just get a little bit, use some bullets, use some, emojis if you feel like it. But just give me something to break that up. But I would move that extensive experience piece, some of that I would move up higher.
Okay.
Also here, this is a great example, Jeffrey. This is for everybody as well. Give me a call to action, okay? And I'm very conscious that sometimes putting our information out there, I will never tell you to put your phone number out there because I don't want my phone number out there in the world that we live in today, especially for women. But I would tell you, give me a way to reach you outside of, so I do, and this is where the downside of some things that happen on LinkedIn, but I would encourage you to include an email address at least. And you can have a Google email address that's just for your job searching, maybe not your personal one. So you can set that up for free, and that just, to check that every single day. Why? Because as the recruiter, this will sound a little bit weird, but I am jokingly, I am a professional stalker, okay? And as a recruiter, my goal is to track you down and say, where are you? So I might be like, hey, Amy, I just came across your LinkedIn profile. I, would love to have a conversation with you. But guess what I'm going to do next, Amy? I'm going to email you. Hey, Amy, I just left you a voicemail that I came across your LinkedIn profile, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. I will message you and call you multiple ways as a recruiter because I work off of time. Okay, recruiters work off of time. Time is of the essence. So if I'm really excited about you, I need to have a way to contact you. And guess what I'm also going to do? I'm going to send you probably a connection request or a message and go, hey, Amy, I just left you a voicemail and an email, but just in case you see this first, let's have a conversation. And yes, I am my friend's go-to person to find information about anybody that they're dating or seeing in this world, and I can find it in a heartbeat. I do not need public records.
By the way, if you're concerned about adding that email address to your profile, it's incredibly frustrating not to have a way to contact you. You don't have to list it in your contact information. You can, however, list it in your about section. It's harder for the bots to find your email address that way than it is in your contact. So just be aware of that. But I do need a way to get a hold of you.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely is very important with that.
Okay, so we are at time. I can stay longer. I don't know about anybody else. I'm already starting to see people leave. So before you leave, I want to remind you all that you need to copy the chat. There are two ways to do it. One of which is to go to the top of the chat screen, the three dots, and hit files or chat save or file saved. The other is to click anywhere in that chat box, click Control A, Control C, and copy it into a document for yourself. I will add this to our private group later this afternoon, which is a reminder, make sure you join our private group. For those of you who we haven't gotten to yet, we will try and get back to you and give you additional resources at a later date, but use the information that you've gotten from some of these reviews so far to see what you can add and what you can change on your own profile. Melanie, please put your information back in the chat again if anybody wants to work directly with you. I'm going to do the same. We want to make sure that you feel supported and that you have resources to be able to move to that next role. And I know we didn't get to everything. Now, I can stay on for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know whether you can, Melanie. If you can't, that's perfectly acceptable not to.
Unfortunately, I cannot, but feel free to connect with me. I do, like I mentioned, a LinkedIn Live, Career Coaches on Call every other Tuesday. We just had one yesterday. And so that's another free resource. Linda often joins in their conversations and adds to it. So feel free to join us there. And then, yeah, and then there's other, I'm always trying to give as much, I try to do 1 or 2 events per month where I'm giving them my time. And so if there's other resources that I can connect you with, I definitely will. But thank you so much for everybody. This was you guys
Melanie,
were
this was
fantastic.
fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us and providing all this insight. It was wonderful.
Thank you guys. Hope everyone and good luck. Hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to stay on for another couple of minutes. So if there are some additional questions that we can answer, as a reminder, put your information in the chat so that we can connect with you. And I know we didn't get to everybody, but we'll do our best. Aaron, you have your question up and then so does Hillary, all right, your hand up and so does Hillary. So Aaron, you first.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, I was just gonna post my my LinkedIn profile and ask about my about section, like everybody else was. For me, I'm a creative director level professional, and I'm looking to actually be more hands-on in my profession. And creative directors usually are more like strategic level. So I'm kind of balancing this hybrid approach, and I'm trying to reflect that in my about section. In terms of that I am a leader, but I also want to be hands-on.
Got it.
And I'm
So let
trying
me
to do
take-
that in a very storytelling kind of manner.
Okay, well, let me look real quick. So remember that the only thing that we see, those first 3 to 4 lines, so those have to be really impactful. That has to be able to, LinkedIn will see it all. But for me, you need to make sure that I see as much as possible that's going to want me to click that see more. Okay, love the fact that you've got your skills there. And it's not letting me look at the rest of it. Interesting. I know there's more there, Aaron, because we've talked about it before. There we go. Okay. So I would rather, instead of saying you're the creative leader and brand storyteller, personally, if you're looking for someone to bring bold ideas to life, blending your storytelling and branding with a creative approach, that's what my superpower is. Let's talk. So start with what you do. The creative leader doesn't say anything. I know you're creative and that's what we want to be able to see, but I want to see what you can do for me. So I would start with, I thrive, concepting, designing, bringing bold ideas to life. I'm that creative leader who can do it all for you.
Do you think I should have the currently seeking full-time role aspect up there, just to reinforce that's, that
Currently
I'm
seeking the full-time role is fine, but when you're saying with a team that values thoughtful strategy, strong execution, and meaningful collaboration, that doesn't say a whole lot. That can be anything. So I'm currently seeking a full-time role and put in a couple of job titles.
okay.
And that idea about the thoughtful strategy, strong execution, and meaningful collaboration, that's more about you than about what you're looking for and what you bring. Okay. And you can say where I can bring my strategic point of view, my ability to execute your design and mine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about them, not about you, even though this is your about section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Aaron, you're definitely somebody who should be including those featured. Okay. Which is perfect. You can change them, you can add more. But the whole point of the about section is to tell me not only about you, but about what you can do for me. So it's what's your superpower that you're going to bring to every job that you take. I'd also like to see you add your email address here. Let's talk. Okay, I'd love to be part of it. Reach out to me at.
Okay.
Okay, include your email address. You can add more than 5 skills there. I don't want to know so much here about, and I'm looking at the second paragraph here. Okay. I like the fact that you're concerned about being part of the team that pushes the ideas forward with intention. But this is too much in my point of view. Okay.
Well, what I was trying to do there is, because essentially I have actually held titles as a creative director, but I'm not necessarily looking for that. Now,
Okay.
I've learned, you know what, I don't want to manage people anymore. I want to actually be in the trenches doing the work.
And you
So
can
I'm
say
not,
that.
I don't want to make excuses of like, and change the titles. I want to use that as an asset that I have that ability to think high level and be a team leader, but I want to execute the work.
So do you want to get into that management role again, or do you want to be the doer, the worker bee?
I want to be the doer. So I'm looking more for like, you know, senior art director roles and
Okay.
associate creative directors, even though I have higher titles,
Okay.
because those tend to just be more managerial and strategy driven.
Okay.
I want to actually be doing the work with the strategy.
Then what I would say, because this doesn't read that way, while I've held senior roles, I'm not attached to titles. I care more about the work and being part of a team than pushing forward. It doesn't tell me that you want to be the doer. It tells me that you want to be the manager, but you don't care what that title is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather hear you say something like, you know, with my experience in in-house teams, agencies, and my own freelance period, one of the things I've discovered is that I really enjoy doing the work. And so while I've held the senior titles and I've managed people, at this point, I want to be the worker bee. I want to be the person who gets things done.
Okay.
And then add some of the titles that you're looking for right there again. Remember, it's never a problem to say things more than once.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hillary, you've got your hand up.
So so I've done a lot of stuff that you told me to do, or like I pushed myself out of my comfort level. Like I did make a video that's in the featured section. I've been joining a lot of these breakfast club groups, and they had one on the elevator speech, so I've
Yep.
been working on that. I had one of the people had commented, my husband and I own our own business, but I don't get paid for it. I just do all the work
Doesn't
on
make
the
any difference.
side. And I had it as co-owner, so it looked like I was still employed, but I took it off because she said it made it sound like that's what I was doing only. And it doesn't really apply to the other types of positions that I'm trying to get, like a customer support role. So I don't know if I should still have it, whether I should have this intermediary thing with this customer support in there. I am not sure what to do with that.
Okay, so you're talking about your experience section?
Um, well, yeah, the experiences with the manufacturing solutions, it's my husband and I removed it, so it's not there anymore. So now
So,
you just see
okay.
the technical roles that I have there. I mean, I worked for a funeral home too, and an accounting firm and stuff,
Yeah.
but that was all prior to me getting back into the technical field.
So if that was before 2013, you don't need to include any of it
Okay.
unless it directly relates to what it is you want to do now.
All right. So Do you feel I should put this customer support with open to opportunities in here or not?
So you can do two things. One of which is, so the digital reality is where you were,
For almost 10 years, yeah.
okay? You left them in April. So you could add your husband's business, okay, or your company business, but instead of calling it co-owner, you could talk about it as customer support lead or customer support manager. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever it is you're doing.
Would say like part-time or something next
You
to
can
it
say
or
part-time,
what?
you can say contract while looking for my next full-time role. As. So that in effect becomes your placeholder company.
All right. Well, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you can add, put a couple of bullet points in there as to what you do.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah,
Thank
you
you.
can either call it contract, you can call it project, you can call it temporary, but the big thing is to say, while looking for my full-time role as X, Y, and Z.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay. Amy, are you still here? I don't see you. Oh, yes, you are. Amy, you had your hand up earlier.
I did. I am just wondering, I created a new experience. It's the first experience open to work. So I just wanted a review of that, if you wouldn't mind.
And then we'll get to Barbara. Okay. Let's see if I can find you. Amy, can you put your URL in the chat at the bottom of there? Stacy, so should she say volunteer for what? For the work that she's doing with her husband? Doesn't really make any difference. Okay. As long as you're calling it project, you're calling it temporary, you're calling it part-time, that's fine. Okay. You don't ever need to say volunteer. You're doing the work anyway. Sorry, trying to get over to my other screen. Okay, so what section, while I'm pulling it up as a share, what section would you like me to take a look at, Amy?
The experience and the first role, the open to work.
Actually,
So
that's fine.
Okay. And then does it have too much information or does that look okay?
Yeah, there's too much information there.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of this belongs in your about section.
Okay.
Okay. But you want in that section, okay. Yeah, I want to see what kinds of things you're looking for. Oh, by the way, take out that open to work hashtag. Okay. And the reason for that, you can say hashtag #ONUO or something like that, or just the word open to new opportunities will work. You've got it there in the rest. But one of the things we found is that it's not the green banner, okay, that drives the spam to you. It seems to be that hashtag open to work.
Okay.
Okay. So no guarantee that that's going to eliminate all of it, but it should eliminate some of it.
Okay.
Okay. So even when you're doing your green banner open to work post, you can edit that post, take out that hashtag.
Got it.
You can't remove it from the banner, but that doesn't seem to cause a problem yet.
Perfect.
So what I would do, Amy, is that I would take a lot of this with your professional highlights, because you've got your highlights in your other jobs,
Mm-hmm.
or should.
Yep.
Okay. By the way, there's a lot of information here. People don't read paragraphs, except maybe in your
Okay.
about section. You want bullets and you want them short.
Gotcha.
Okay. And you want to have something that gives me enough information, the same way that we don't put the resume there. Your LinkedIn profile is enough of a teaser to make me want to ask more.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're including everything here, I have no reason to reach out.
Makes sense.
So are there some of those there? Yes. Do I need too
Yep.
much here? Probably not. But I would do bullets rather than anything else. And what I would do, LinkedIn isn't really great about editing. You can do some of those in LinkedIn itself. Sometimes you may have to copy and paste from Word,
All right.
but see what you can do. LinkedIn is a terrible editor. Sorry, LinkedIn, don't listen. Okay.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. And the recognition, unfortunately, it's great. But unless this is recognition outside of the organization, it doesn't help much in terms of moving forward.
Okay. So remove that.
I would.
Okay.
Okay. And you need to also double check your wording. Most people outside of government don't understand what unplaced resources mean.
Okay.
Okay. And again, unless you're going back to the federal government, you want to make these accomplishments or achievements what I call specific but generic. I want to see how it works for me, not how it worked for somebody else.
Okay.
So it's listed under the job in this case, but you don't have to be using all of those terms. So you filled 341 technical roles within X period of time. Wow, that's huge. That can go within the government or elsewhere.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Um,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Barbara, how do you know which bullet points will be most attractive when the job response? You don't, Jennifer. So the idea is this is a generic profile. It can't tell everything. You want to give me enough information so that I can see more. And if you're putting in those keywords, those skills, that's what's going to be important. I don't want to know what the responsibilities are. I don't want to know the tasks you were assigned, either on LinkedIn or on your resume. I want you to remove the responsible for from your vocabulary, period.
Right.
Okay. But I want you to be able to pick those that are the most important. And remember, when you are applying for a job, you're going to be tailoring whatever you're applying directly to them. That's where you tailor those keywords and those skills and those accomplishments. But you've got 100 skills that you can add to your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you don't have to use them all.
Right.
But looking at all of the jobs that are out there, go through and see which ones seem to pop up most often.
Right.
And add those to your profile.
Right. And that's
honestly, as a recruiter, I'm searching for those skill terms.
right. I've learned some of those top key ones that catch the attention. Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
Thank you.
And make sure when you're doing that, you're using the LinkedIn drop-down box. Because the
For
same
the
way
skills.
for the skills, absolutely.
Yes.
And for the job titles. So if your job title is admin 3, I have no idea what that means.
Right.
But if it's admin 3, customer service manager, dash customer service manager, the customer service manager is the drop-down box that really explains what you did. That's what I'm searching for. That's how you're going to get found.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Barbara, did we?
Yeah, hi, Linda and everybody. I've been a marketing director in the print publishing, magazine, newspaper world my entire career. And I'm looking to just I don't want that anymore. I'm done with that. So, in fact, I'm actually looking to totally transition to do something else that's more meaningful and I'll even say fun. Um, so I want, of course, my resume and my LinkedIn profile have what my positions had been, but I'm not looking for to climb the corporate ladder anymore. I'm done with that. I'm looking to do things like being an office manager, an event planner, just using the things that looking for things that I've always wanted to do. And so could I put that into my about section?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And that's something that we will talk about again when we talk resumes. We'll talk about it on LinkedIn. We do this a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Sherilyn, how do
Thank
you
you.
remove a post? Every time you put up the green banner, it stays on your profile. It will stay on your profile for a period of time until you remove the open to work section on your profile itself. It's not the post, it's the open to work banner. You say, what are you open to? Okay. It doesn't make you look desperate. It makes you look found, wanting to be found. I'm not worried about it. But what I would suggest is that when you have that open to work up, write yourself a calendar reminder. And at least once a month, take it off for 24 hours. Take it off for 2 hours and then put it back up again. It does two things. One of which is it refreshes your page in the eyes of LinkedIn. It becomes a new idea. It also puts it back out to your profile, to your people again. Okay, I'm still looking. But make sure that you're customizing that post. It's not just the standard LinkedIn post. Sherilyn, you're muted if you were trying to talk. Yes, the whole point of LinkedIn is that you're always open to work, but it's not the point of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not just a job seeker platform. I've been on LinkedIn for 17 or 18 years. I'm not looking for a job. Okay. Many people are there because they want to share expertise. The people who use LinkedIn best are those who know that you are on LinkedIn and you are active on LinkedIn, whether you are searching for a job or not. So the point of LinkedIn in terms of that open to work is that we have found that recruiters looking for people are more likely to look at your profile if that LinkedIn open to work banner is on. I know you're interested in talking. You will be receptive to my call. It's also another way of letting your network know that you're looking. Because if you don't tell them, how do they know? Now they can know because you're sending them private messages, but absolutely, it's still not a bad thing. So my view is go green. If it's not working for you, take it off. But if you are going green, if you are putting up that LinkedIn open to work, my recommendation is you do it to everyone and not just those who are recruiters. The problem with doing it recruiters only is that recruiter only doesn't put up that green banner, which is fine. That may not be what you want, but it only is visible then to the recruiters who are using the paid version of LinkedIn Recruiter. And I will tell you, LinkedIn Recruiter is incredibly expensive. Even when I was doing full-time recruiting, I never paid for LinkedIn Recruiter. In fact, the latest statistics are that less than 1/3 of the recruiters on LinkedIn are paying for LinkedIn Recruiter. So you are really limiting the number of people who see that as a possibility for you. So lots of ways you can do it. You don't have to have that banner up. Please do not use the hashtag open to work. Right now, hashtag open to ONO still seems to be an okay one. It's not triggering as many of the bots and the spam messages, but we can't say that for sure. But if you find those spam messages, immediately go in and go to you're going to delete the comment, but before you even delete the comment, you're going to go to that person's profile, report, and block. The more of us who report those profiles that are sending out those spam messages, the more likely LinkedIn is to start taking action. And we've already seen them start to take some of that action. So I would highly recommend that. Okay. I'm going to have to go in just a couple of minutes. Kendra, you still have your hand up, and then Jennifer, and then I'm going to have to be done.
Yeah, hi, thanks. How do you identify those recruiters who are using the paid version?
You can't.
Okay.
There's no way to do it.
Okay. That was something that came to mind just now while you were talking. My question was, what do you do if your field is more of a niche field and you're not finding like the titles or the right fit for either the job titles or that type of thing to put into your profile?
So
it's like, what do I do?
So put your profile in the link in the chat.
Just put it as,
perfect.
yeah, I work in healthcare quality measurement.
But those skills are transferable to other things unless you want to stay in that field.
Correct. I would like to stay in the field. But I guess I'm open to other. I'm also working on my profile. It's very much a work in progress.
Yep, most of them are.
I've been
okay. I see the open to work. So just for the sake of it, okay, I can't do it on yours, but let me try mine for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, for those of you who are worried about video, okay, that's a terrible way to do that. But terrible, look, the video is not bad. But the way LinkedIn posted it, oh. Okay. So I'm going to go, just for the sake of it, into my experience section for the second. Because what I want to do is edit, just for the sake of it. Okay. And see whether I can't come up with
So you're within experience?
So I'm in experience. I'm looking at my job title.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to save this, okay? So if I'm looking here, don't use the one that says unemployed, please.
No.
Okay. But for example, I just typed in career and see what's there, and it's going to show me some acceptable terms.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've been doing to see if there's something close.
So yours, is it data? Is it quality? Is it, what would be closest?
I mean, it's using clinical data to improve healthcare quality. It's like in terms of like the type of position I'm looking for, I mean, I put senior project manager because there's a lot of like discrete projects.
So one of the things that I might do, okay, you can look in healthcare. I see healthcare analyst. I don't know whether or not that's appropriate. Okay, look at all the terms to see whether or not any of them are there. Senior healthcare consultant. Look at the jobs that you're looking at and see what their titles might be and see whether any of those work.
Yeah.
You can do healthcare consultant. You might do clinical data analyst.
Yeah, that is not exactly the right fit, but I guess, is it more important to kind of put something in to get in the right ballpark than to not have it there?
Okay, so data quality, I don't know what it might be, but the idea is to try and find something. Okay, I don't want to do this. Yes, I want to discard. Okay. But the idea of the job titles and the reason for using some of those drop-down boxes is that those are the terms I'm searching for. Unless my title that I'm looking for is Director Quality, Healthcare Policy and Quality Measurement, right? That's not a normal search term.
Right.
So I would do this, and then I would put in, okay, with a dash, the closest thing you can come to in the drop-down box.
Okay.
Okay. Keep yours.
Yeah.
Okay, but do that. Was that the big question?
That's helpful. Yes. That was the
Okay.
question. I have many, but I'll save those.
We can talk privately as well.
Yeah, I did set up a time with you.
Perfect.
So thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, as I'm looking at it in terms of your activity, you notice that your activity is important, and it really is important on LinkedIn. We find that people are looking, we don't know whether they're looking necessarily at your resume first or your LinkedIn first, but even if I have your resume, the majority of recruiters are going to look at LinkedIn too before they decide whether or not to bring you in. So your activity on LinkedIn is one of the things that makes you that person I want to talk with, because it helps to demonstrate your expertise. So
I have to go. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Jennifer. But I like the fact that you're doing something. I'd like to see you make comments that are better than, excuse me, stronger than just congratulations. You're looking for something that helps move it forward. So congratulations, Deanna. That's a wonderful way of being able to use your skills in such and such to do this. You'll make an immediate impact. Okay. Whatever it is, you're looking for something that's minimum 12 to 18 words. If you can, it doesn't always have to be, especially for these congratulations ones, but you want to be able to do something that helps to demonstrate who you are. It doesn't have to be a post by any means. Okay? But those comments, that engagement, helps to drive people to your profile. And basically what I'm seeing is the congrats.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you found a post in your area, something that you could do something with, and then you move the conversation forward with another professional comment. Gee, that sounds really interesting. I'd love to learn more. It's good enough. Okay.
Okay.
I haven't thought about this in this way. Or have you thought about doing this? Or it's really interesting. I just saw something to comment on the post itself, the content of the post, because you want people to see you as somebody who is also that professional whose expertise is out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I thank you all for hanging in with me. I know we haven't gotten to everybody's comments or questions or concerns. We will. We do sessions like this every once in a while. Okay. I'm happy to work with you individually as well. But remember that LinkedIn is a work in progress. Your job search is a work in progress, and we're here to help. If you still have continuing questions that we haven't been able to answer, I will try and get back to some of those in our private group, or send you a private message if there's something there that I can help with quickly. Otherwise, we may do it as a LinkedIn. I may do it as a LinkedIn post, or we may do it as another LinkedIn session, or as another Lunch and Learn session. I want to make sure that these sessions, by the way, work for you. So I would like it if you give me the information. If you have additional ideas you'd like to share, let me know. Okay. I want to know what topics you want as I continue to plan for October and beyond. Okay. All right. So do let